Hai and Assalamualaikum. My name is Cik Syafika binti Cik Azhar.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Nurul Aina Natasha binti Ramli.
Hi and Assalamualaikum. My name is Nurul Aina binti Zakaria.
In this video, we will presenting CRG650 movie review, which is Hidden Figures. Now, we will start the presentation with synopsis. Hidden Figure is a 2017 American biographical drama film directed by Theodore Melfi. It is loosely based on the non-fiction book of the same name written by Margot Lee Shetterly. This movie stars Tara J.P. Henson as Catherine Goble Johnson, Octavia Spencer as Dorothy Vaughan, Janelle Monáe as Mary Jackson, Kevin Costner as Al Harrison, and Jim Parsons as Paul Stafford. This movie is about three brilliant African women who work at the NASA. Catherine Johnson, Dorothy Vaughan, and Mary Jackson, who at first worked in a computer unit that was dominated by black people. Catherine was then assigned to become the first black woman to assist Al Harrison's space task group, given her skills in analytic geometry. Since she is the first black woman working in the team, she received a lot of discrimination and racism towards her colleagues. Back in 1916, black women were oppressed and had been discriminated against. Due to the discrimination she and her friend had to face, it did not stop them from making their contribution at NASA. Not to forget Mary, she is permanently assigned to working on the Mercury 7 prototype. However, she does not have the qualification to become an engineer since she is a black woman. To join the NASA engineering training program, she needs to have additional education requirements, but unfortunately, the school that offers the program is the University of Virginia School of Arts. While their friend, Dorothy, does not have any positive movement in her working position until one day she found out the solution to solve the problem of IBM. Al Harrison played a good role as a leader since he solved the problem of segregation between the employees. As a result, Catherine does not face discrimination on her team anymore. Fortunately, Mary's appeal at the court has been approved and she can continue to study to be an engineer, while Dorothy is assigned to IBM. Despite dealing with racial and gender discrimination at work, the visionary trio cross all gender and race lines to inspire generation to dream big. At the end of the day, the trio becomes successful since Catherine received the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 2015, while Mary and Dorothy become the first engineer and supervisor of NASA. Now I will pass the presentation to Nurul Aina Zakaria.
Thank you, Shafika. Alright, now let's take a look at the two of the main stakeholders and their stake. So the first main stakeholders are Catherine's friends, which are Dorothy Vaughan and Mary Jackson. So who are they and what are their interests? Catherine and her friends Dorothy and Mary are the computers of NASA. Dorothy is the one who recommends Catherine for a position in the Space Task Group. On Catherine's first day at the Space Task Group, both of them waited for Catherine to go home together, although it was already late. When Catherine feels that she cannot survive being with the team, her friends comfort her, saying that they know she is the most intelligent person there, hence wanting her to keep up with the team. So the second stakeholder is Catherine leaders in the Space Task Group, Mr. Al Harrison. What is Mr. Harrison's stake? Alright, so the Space Task Group requires a computer for their team. Thus, Catherine is the first black woman assigned to assist Mr. Al Harrison in the group with her skills in analytic geometry. Mr. Harrison was impressed when Catherine solved complex mathematical equations by referring to redacted documents. He then decided to involve Catherine in high-level meetings as he could see the potential in Catherine in calculating the space capsule re-entry point. Now, let's proceed to the main heroine in this movie. The main heroine is Catherine Johnson. Catherine's dream is always to be a mathematician in the Space Task Group. However, since she gets to be on the team, she suddenly feels unsure about it since her colleagues always act racist and being uncomfortable towards her. For example, they separate the jugs so that Catherine does not drink from their jugs. The restroom for the black woman also was not provided in the building, thus making her run miles away just to relieve herself. So what is her ethical dilemma? So the ethical dilemma faced by Catherine is whether to pursue her dreams and put more effort into proving how valuable valuable her intelligence is to the organization and letting everyone know that black women are also capable of doing everything the others can do, or to return to the West Computing Group where the American African women work, since it provides a more comfortable working environment. Next, let's see the main villain of the movie. The main villain is Mr. Stafford. Mr. Stafford is the head engineer of the Space Task Group. Since Catherine is a black woman, Mr. Stafford always looks down on her. He often restricted Catherine from showing her skills. For example, he prevents her from joining their group's meeting by giving the reason that it was only for men and showing dissatisfaction when Mr. Harrison suddenly allows her to join the meeting. He also forces Catherine to remove her name from reports by insisting that computers cannot be the author and her work is credited solely to him. Therefore, the ethical dilemma of Mr. Stafford is whether to keep discriminating against Catherine due to her skin color, being inconsiderate, and continuing to demonstrate an unwillingness to gain knowledge and skills from black women, or to stop racism and start to build a friendship between them, as well as give good cooperation as a colleague to achieve their group's goals and objectives together. Now, let's proceed the presentation with Aina Natasha.
Consequentialism is an ethical theory that judges whether or not something is right by what its consequences are. For instance, most people would agree that lying is wrong. But if telling a lie would have saved a person's life, consequentialism says it's the right thing to do. Two examples of consequentialism are utilitarianism and hedonism. Utilitarianism judges consequence by a greatest good for the greatest number standard. Hedonism, on the other hand, says something is good if the consequence produces pleasures or avoids pain. Consequentialism is sometimes criticized because it can be difficult, even impossible, to know what the results of an action will be ahead of time. Indeed, no one can know the future with certainty. Also, in certain situations, consequentialism can lead to decisions that are objectionable even though the consequences are arguable good. Throughout the movie, Mr. Stanford was very impolite and rude to Catherine even though she was one of the most talented people in their department. It seems like he was jealous of Catherine's growth. However, based on consequentialism point of view, Mr. Stanford's behavior contributed to the impact and success of the movie was that he constantly tried to push Catherine down. And in the end, it resulted in Catherine learning how to stand up for herself against her white co-workers. For example, when Mr. Stanford told Catherine that she couldn't attend the briefings, she stood up for herself and confronted Mr. Harrison about it. This makes Mr. Stanford's behavior beneficial to the self-development of Catherine. Deontology is an ethical theory that uses rules to distinguish right from wrong. It is also sometimes described as duty, obligation, or rule. Deontology is simple to apply. It just requires that people follow the rules and do their duty. This approach tends to fit well with our natural intuition about what is or is not ethical. Unlike consequentialism, which judge action by their result, deontology doesn't require weighing the costs and benefits of a situation. This avoids subjectivity and uncertainty because you only have to follow set rules. Besides, deontology advises not to violate this rule. In the movie, there was never a point where someone would ask for Catherine's work and it was not done. She would even bring it with her to the bathroom, so she didn't have to stop working and fall behind. She even must walk for half of a mile to the colored bathroom. Based on the deontology point of view, we can see that Catherine's character, where she could manage to perform and focus her duty despite being in a place that is not conducive, which is the toilet. Regarding the consequence, Catherine was always able to find a way to get the desired result. Next, I will pass the presentation to Anis Aisha.
Thank you, Aina Natasha, for the great explanation. Moving on to the ethical action that we will take based on the golden rule. If we are in Mr. Stafford's shoes, we will treat Catherine with respect and also dignity. Instead of being rude, we should treat Catherine in an appropriate manner by speaking to her in a polite way. By doing that, we could build feelings of trust, safety, and also well-being towards each other.
Catherine will also feel safe to voice out whatever opinion and ideas that she has in mind that could give benefits to the NASA organization as a whole. By being respectful towards other co-workers, it also could somehow increase the productivity and also efficiency in doing a particular task. We should also offer support and mutual respect, as it will allow Catherine to build and value work relationship with us, which can eliminate any feelings of spite and also discrimination in the organization. Next is reduce racial prejudice and also racism towards black people and women. The effects of racial and discriminations at work are not limited to physical but also mental effects on the employees, including depression, developing anxiety disorder, and could also reduce their performance in the workplace. In order to prevent that from happening in the NASA organization, as someone with power, we should prevent it from occurring by suggesting a proposal to remove the protocol that forbid women of colors to attend the Pentagon briefings. Eliminating discrimination could help in sustaining a productivity workforce where employees believe that we value their talents and also expertise. Moving on to the feelings that we will feel as the villain. The first feeling is shame. When we see someone we perceive as in our level could do something that we aren't capable of doing, feelings of envy can surface. However, I would be very ashamed of myself for being disrespectful towards Catherine. Instead of being jealous of her growth, I should learn and work together with Catherine to solve the problems related to NASA organization. I should also put aside my ego as a manager and demonstrate my willingness to gain new abilities in order to grow. This could build awareness of each other's goals and allow me to use my training and expertise to help others in reaching certain objectives. The next feelings is feelings of guilty. Racism happens when someone is treated differently because of their race or culture. I would feel very guilty of discriminating and being racist towards colored people, especially Catherine. Everyone, no matter what their nationality or races are, have the right to be free from all the judges and also discriminations. This guilt feeling occurs as I make race-related assumptions towards Catherine's abilities in the workplace before knowing her capabilities. In order to prevent discriminations, I should actually remain professional and give her guidance, especially in the first month she started working. This could make Catherine feel like she is part of the team as she works in a positive working environment which is free from racism. Now, I will pass the presentation to Cik Shafika to conclude the overall of our presentation today.
So at the conclusion and the lesson learned from the movie, we can learn that genius is based on the person, not on their skin color. There is no requirement to become a genius, such as a requirement to be white. Genius is individual and based on a person, and a person cannot buy or inherit genius. Other than that, we can conclude that racism and discrimination eliminate the potential for success. When there is racism and discrimination in an organization, it will cut short the process of success since it will eliminate the potential that a person has. Last but not least, we can learn that implementing good work ethics in the workplace will create a positive environment. It is important for an organization to have a positive workplace environment since it will boost employees' motivation. It is useful for the future as we have already adapted to the positive ethic in the workplace culture. So the next generation will continue the good ethics in the workplace. That's all from us. Thank you.